Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sam, and today we are taking a look at the Halo Mega Construx set, UNSC Scorpion Clash. This set came with 993 pieces, and is one of the most recent ones to be released for the Halo Infinite line, and personally, to me, it's actually my first Scorpion thing. With all of the things I've managed to get over my past year of collecting, the Scorpion has never been one of them. Rather just me not looking for one or just not finding one. This did end up being my first real Scorpion thing. Forgive the background, I wasn't gonna try and move that whole thing for this whole display, and honestly it might provide a bit of a good look for the background. I don't know, we'll see. Let me know what you think. But first things first, let's go ahead and take a look at these figures. Alright, so first off, I wanted to talk about this new Desert Marine in the Infinite style. This is the first look we had at a Desert Marine, although I'm pretty sure we probably got a hold of blind bag ones first. But this figure actually surprised me, kind of. I already had my criticism lined up in that, just from looking at the promotional pictures and everything, it looked like the armor was a different color. So it would be harder to get more variation within your Desert Marines. But I actually have another Infinite Marine here, and having them side by side, they are actually the same color, which genuinely surprised me. The brown for the shoulders, the helmet, and the chest armor is the same as the default Marines. I genuinely expected to have very limited selection with the Desert Marines, especially since these ones are the only one that come with shoulder pads. But there's now much more room for customization because any color will work on them. And honestly, that's such a good bonus for that figure. I was not expecting to really like this thing, but that gives it some bonus points for me. Alright, and next up we have our first official figure of Spartan. I think her name is Bonita Stone. Either way, we thought we had a version of her in Halo Heroes Series 15, and I've got that figure here for comparison's sake. Honestly, I kind of like the Series 15 version more. There are some figures where the, the asymmetrical look, it does work, but this figure does not seem to be one of them, unfortunately. It just kind of looks like a mess on Spartan Stone. And the saving grace for this figure is, of course, the print for the camo. Of course, you get that all over the top of the head, all over the back, and on this figure, you actually get it on the leg, too. On the Series 15 version, you just get it on the chest, a bit on the head, but not really as noticeable, and of course, on the back. They're both great figures, but I think I will keep using this one. Unless I'm actually using something, or unless I'm actually trying to make something with Spartan Stone specifically. But honestly, I have no idea what I would try and make involving her. Alright, and here we have the pair of Banished Hunters, and you actually get two different hunters, technically, in this set. You get this one here, which is actually the same as the Wasp Hunter, from what I can tell anyways. I'm not gonna go dig that figure up to try and compare them, but this looks borderline identical to that Wasp Hunter. But then you have this one over here with the sort of battle damage print to his chest like some of the Master Chief figures. I know Master Chief from the Wasp had that, and I think he did in Series 14 too. And I just realized I called the Halo Hero Spartan. I said that was from Series 15, that was actually from Series 14. Don't yell at me. But yeah, we've got some battle damage on the Hunter. Not much else to say about these guys, other than, obviously, we get 2 of them. I will say, though, something that's kind of bad for these figures is how they're packaged. They're packaged, and all of the figures are like this, they're packaged entirely built, but something I've noticed that's bad for the Hunters is it bends all these parts in the packaging. This is how it came out of the box, and doesn't really seem like there's much I can do about that. The other one, the foot likes to come off. But the other one's not terrible, but still not great. They're slightly bent. I don't know how well you can see that, but these ones are serviceable. This, however, this is just bad. I really hope going forward, if they continue to make Hunters, or whenever they make another set with a Hunter in it, I really hope that they package those spine parts separately. Overall, though, this pair, they're amazing. I'm glad we're finally getting pairs of Hunters again. The last time we got those was the 10th anniversary Warthog Run set, and I can't speak for old articulation Hunters. I do think EVA's Last Stand had a Hunter pair, but I'm not entirely sure beyond that. I'd have to go do some studying. But this gives me hope going into the future that we'll get more, and hopefully we get more in the old blue Covenant style, because those are some great designs for these, and it would be a shame to have those exclusive to the Warthog Run set. And last but not least, we have this Gold Elite Warlord. Now, leading up to the release of this set, people were referring to this as Chaklock, one of the bosses from Halo Infinite. And yes, it definitely does match his design there. We might not be calling this guy Chaklock. According to, there was a survey that Mega put out, where you could vote for different things you'd like to see in the Halo line, and if I remember correctly, Chaklock was one of the options on there. So maybe this guy's just gonna be another Elite Warlord. I do have the Series 13 version here. And as you can see, that is a much more vibrant yellow. I mean, these figures have their differences. Of course, they've got similar print on the head, shoulders, kind of on the chest. The set version is missing some up here. No print on the thighs for either of them. Some print between the toes. And I just realized you can't see that, so there you go. Although this guy here, he has, the midsection of his leg is gold. That is kind of surprising. I didn't really think that they'd really do something like that for an Elite figure, but it looks really good. I guess another thing to note here is that he doesn't have the head print like the Heroes version did, but honestly, who was expecting that? That would have been wishful thinking. Still though, an amazing figure, and one I'm probably going to have on a very prominent display. Alright, and now that we've had our fun talking about the figures, it is time to get to the actual namesake of this set, the Scorpion tank. As I said before, this is my first Scorpion tank, so I don't really have much of a comparison. I do know that this is practically identical to the 20-in-1 designer set, but I don't have a in-person reference for that, and honestly, I feel like that's for the better. I could just judge this as its own thing, and as its own thing, it is phenomenal. Much better than I was expecting. This is actually probably the set I was looking forward to the least with the fall 2022 line, but having this thing in hand has significantly surpassed my expectations. Just gonna get my one problem out of the way with this set. The dead-on side profile. It's really bad. There's really, it's really short. Like, there's not much else I can say about it. It's just really short front to back, and I'm not gonna know this until editing, but I have a picture of the in-game Scorpion from the side, just like it, and I'm going to be comparing that in post, so maybe this is gonna look a lot better than I'm expecting, but just looking at it here, I would like for it to be a bit longer. But other than that, and if you look at it from any other angle, it looks amazing. These tread pods are individually posable, and honestly, they have quite a range of motion. I'm actually surprising myself here. But yeah, it's a really solid build too. I expected the whole turret assembly to be loose and wobbly, but it holds really well. It's got a really solid grip here, a lot of friction, but not enough to make it ridiculous to try and pose. And the same can be said for the altitude of the turret itself. Can you see that? It's kind of out of frame. But I will say this turret was kind of a pain to build. I missed like one part, and that made the whole thing wobble around in there. But now, when I try and use this little mechanism thing, it works perfectly. This is something carried over from the 20-in-1 set that I do know of. Is the firing gimmick. Ideally, it would be in this position normally, and then you'd fire, and it would recoil back and then move back to that position, but it usually will sit at this position. I'm sure most people will have it displayed like that, and honestly, that's not much of a problem. Just a little nitpick that I had, even with the previous iteration of Scorpion. The turret here is a really nice looking turret. I've heard complaints about the 20-in-1. I can't remember what that looks like for the life of me, but this is a really nice, if I can get my hand in there. Yeah, it turns really nice. It has a lot of friction, just like the main cannon. And overall, it's just really solid. There's also a hatch here for a Spartan or whoever to climb inside, which honestly I forgot would even be included when building this, it kind of took me by surprise, because it's just not something I thought about before. Really solid though, just like everything else. In the back here, you have this little section that can come out here, and I can't get that. Oh, there it goes. It's got a little crate in it, and this crate has tools in it. All that. I don't know how well you can see that. There are crowbars, there are screwdrivers, there are wrenches. I feel like this is just a little appetizer of all the things we're going to get in the elephant set that was unfortunately delayed. But still, really nice to see that. And it goes in here, kind of goes in at an angle, which I didn't expect. But that just closes up, and you wouldn't even know it opened in the first place. This thing rolls pretty good. Not great. The front treads don't really appear to be moving. That could just be a fault on my part, but as of right now, I'm not really getting them to move much. These legs are also on hinge joints. I didn't really understand why they did that. But overall, really solid build. I really enjoyed making this a lot more than I thought I would. And the end result, well, I think my verdict on this is I'm probably gonna get another 1 or 2 more Scorpions. One other thing I wanted to take a look at was, oops, forgive me. One other thing I wanted to take a look at is a closer look at the end of the barrel. It has a connector here, and if you grab a flame piece from, you know, whatever set includes the one, I can't think of one off the top of my head, it can plug in there, and that gives a convincing enough look for the turret firing. But I will continue to push for more effect parts, because us diorama builders would absolutely love having more effect parts. I'm positive of it. I almost completely forgot to mention these parts here. This is just a little barricade and a little turret. These are almost exact recreations of the little builds that came in, I believe it was the Mercenary Combat Unit that had the Red Elite Ultra, the Brute, and the Jackal, I believe it was. It had a turret and a little barricade too. This one, though, includes extra shots for the turret on the side. Overall, this set is amazing. Blew my expectations out of the water, as stated before. And like I said, I'm probably gonna get 2 or 3 more of these just for a whole army of Scorpion tanks. For now, though, actually, before I go, I wanted to ask about something. So, I'm planning on making a bunch more reviews, and I'm probably gonna make reviews on older sets as I get them. And I wanted to just sort of ask how y'all felt about that. I buy a lot of older stuff. I mean, as you can probably tell, but I wanted to see how y'all would feel if I did reviews on that older stuff, rather as they came in or just going through stuff I have. I mean, I've got things like, obviously, the Countdown here, I've got the Pelican, I've got a Spirit dropship, Seraph, Covenant AA gun, you know, all kinds of stuff. I've got a lot of potential, and I just wanted to know if y'all would be interested in that sort of thing. Let me know what you think, and until next time, I'll see y'all around. Good night, everybody.